Dear Ministers, dear Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure for me to be here today. Let me start by expressing my heartfelt thanks to our Greek partners for hosting this event in Piraeus, where we opened European Maritime Day with the Mayor this morning. I have to say I'm actually quite excited because this is my first European Maritime Day as European Commissioner. Now, I have to admit, it's not actually my first European Maritime Day ever, because 2 years ago, European Maritime Day was celebrated in Valletta, the capital of Malta, and back then I was the Minister for Tourism. Now, European Maritime Day is quite a new event. It only began in 2008. The first EMD, European Maritime Day, was held in Brussels back in 2008. Then in 2009, the second edition was held in Rome. 2010, the third edition in Gijón, Spain. 2011, Gdansk in Poland. 2012, in Gothenburg in Sweden. 2013, in Valletta, Malta. And in 2014, the last event before this one was held in Bremen in Germany, one of the Hanseatic cities. So, European Maritime Day is truly special. It brings us all together, politicians and policy makers, corporate people and investors, seafarers and fishermen, marine planners and port operators, researchers, nature scientists and engineers. There are many more people here as well. And there are many compelling reasons which justified the creation of European Maritime Day back in 2008. You may know that 22 of the European Union's 27 member states are coastal or island states. Europe is also a maritime continent with almost 70,000 kilometers of coastline. And we should also remember that the maritime regions of the European Union account for some 40% of its GDP. So, as good a reason as any to celebrate. And we're here today because we all believe that our seas and our coasts hold the key to our future. Today and tomorrow, and in 25 other cities in Europe, we're discussing what the future of our seas and oceans should look like. So let me contribute to that discussion. Let me share with you how I see that future. When I look at our seas and our coasts and our oceans, I see potential and I see opportunities. Let's start by talking about these opportunities. What are the assets that we have? Europe's seas are a bountiful source of food, medicine, minerals, and renewable energy. They also contribute to one of Europe's main sectors, tourism. Our seas also provide a variety of ecosystem services. They produce oxygen, they absorb CO2 emissions, and help to regulate the climate. 90% of external trade enters the EU through a port, and 37% of our internal trade is through ports as well, just like the one we're at today, here in Piraeus in Greece. Indeed, Greece's merchant fleet is a very good example of this kind of trade, and is one of the biggest fleets in the world. Now, I've mentioned tourism. In Greece, healthy seas are also the basis for sustainable maritime tourism, making up double-digit percentages of the overall Greek economy. The EU's maritime economy represents a gross added value of over €500 billion per year. The EU's maritime economy provides between 3.5 and 5 million jobs. The cruise tourism sector sees the jobs in its sector increase every year by 3%. Employment in offshore wind energy is also increasing by a whopping 30% every 12 months. So those were our strengths, our assets, and now how do we seize these opportunities? How do we unlock the potential growth that is out there? Because the potential for so-called blue growth is enormous. A recent report by the WWF says that the value of the world's ocean resources is around 21 trillion euros. So not million, not billion, 21 trillion euros. How does Europe seize this opportunity? Europe needs to do 5 things: protect, innovate, invest, train, and reach out to others. These are 5 subjects that are going to be discussed as part of the high-level conference, which is organised to coincide with European Maritime Day. So the first thing we need to do is to protect our oceans and our seas. We need to protect the resources we have. It's not about choosing between the environment and the economy. No, they're 2 sides of the same coin, because if our oceans aren't healthy, then our maritime economy also suffers. If we damage our seas, then we damage our own potential for growth. I'm therefore very happy that tomorrow we will have a dedicated workshop to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Barcelona Convention and the Mediterranean Action Plan. Now, the second thing we need to do to unlock the potential of our oceans is to innovate, to be innovative. Sustainable management of our resources is not just the result of regulation. Innovation also has a huge role to play in ensuring and boosting sustainability. For example, we need to look at innovative solutions that are offered to us by nature itself. We need to use dunes to ensure coastal protection. Wetlands can serve as fish nurseries or as pollution filters. We've also seen fascinating technological developments in shipping, aquaculture, and deep sea technologies. These new developments allow us to use the ocean's resources with a minimal or reduced impact on marine ecosystems. European companies and technology developers are among the world's best in this field. In March, I visited the Geomar Institute in Kiel, Germany, and I saw the future of marine exploration. Their mapping technology was cutting edge. So now I'm turning to you, to everyone here, for additional ideas. One thing that is really important and that I am focused on is reducing the amount of waste and rubbish that ends up in the sea. And when that waste does end up in the sea, we have to manage it. Now, this morning we already heard some interesting ideas about how to reduce marine litter. This is a necessary development in order to protect Europe's coast and ignore that sentence. Of course, innovation does not only help to make traditional blue economies more environmentally friendly. Innovation also enables new business opportunities. Let me tell you about a Spanish company, for instance, that recently developed an anti-tumor drug that is many more times more powerful than any cancer treatments currently in use. In order to develop this product, this Spanish company used the ink from sea creatures at the bottom of the sea, living on the sea floor. We've also heard about other excellent examples of innovation in ports this morning. Later on, we'll also hear about changes to wind farms, including floating wind farms, and innovative aquaculture feed. A key challenge with innovation is to bring new and good ideas to the market. I'm therefore happy to announce that we will be launching the European Business and Science Forum at this very conference. The aim of the European Business and Science Forum is to speed up cooperation between science and industry. Now, we also need to invest, but here I have some good news for you. There is money available to boost the EU's maritime economy. President Juncker recently unveiled his European Fund for Strategic Investment. More than 300 billion euros worth of funding will be made available as part of this fund, EFSI. Blue business, shipping companies, cutting-edge marine environmental research centres can all benefit from this funding, can all receive this funding and are well placed to apply. Just last week, for instance, the EIB approved financing for the construction of new offshore wind farms. And there are lots of other good maritime candidates who could access EFSI. Around 1/5 of the first batch of products that have already been submitted under EFSI have a link to the blue economy and could generate growth for the sector. Additionally, we also have our Maritime Fund, the Regional Development Fund our Maritime Fund, the Regional Development Fund and Horizon 2020 all provide additional financing options. So I encourage you to look further and see how blue growth projects could best benefit from the available funds. I intend to organise a high-level conference later this year, which will look at funding possibilities for the maritime economy. Training is also really important if we're to unlock the potential of the blue economy. Ideas and money aren't enough if we don't have the skilled people to put these ideas into practice. We know that there's a skills gap. Often the skills and qualifications of employees don't match the needs of businesses, particularly maritime businesses. So let's work together and find out what's missing, what skills need to be further developed. Could we devote more funding to train specialised engineers for the marine renewable energy industry? Could we provide more money to train technicians to maintain offshore plants or to train biologists specialised in aquaculture? So once we've worked out what the needs are, then how do we fill the gap? How can the maritime economy better predict the needs it will have in terms of the labour market? And how do we promote close links between the maritime economy and higher education institutes? We have a specific session on training and the maritime economy tomorrow, and that's one of the events I'm most looking forward to attending. The final thing we have to do to unlock growth is to reach out to the rest of the world, because the oceans are not just the preserve of the EU. They don't stop at the EU's outer limits. But unfortunately, oceans are coming under increased pressure because of population growth, because there is greater and greater competition for raw materials, there's food demand, there's water scarcity, there are security threats, climate change, and marine pollution. There are many international institutions, rules, and processes that are in place to address all the pressures that I've just referred to. But very few people would say that the rules in place, that the institutions in place, have addressed the problems that oceans face. We therefore need to reach out to our global partners and see what more can be done to improve the governance of oceans. So, the first thing I'm going to do is launch a listening tour on oceans and their governance. I will be asking for stakeholder views on what is missing and what is not functioning well, and also what role the EU should play in changing examples of poor governance. So I hope that you will all take part in that fact-finding mission, because your views matter to me. They matter a lot. Additionally, I will launch this new idea. I will reach out to other partners at the World Ocean Summit in Lisbon next week. So I need your input. I need your initial ideas so that I have something to take to the table when I go to Lisbon. The EU is already recognized as a global leader when it comes to ocean management. Let's make our reputation even better. Let me conclude now. As I've said, we have to protect, innovate, invest, train, and reach out to our global partners. That's the vision that I have as EU Commissioner for Fisheries and the Environment, if we are going to seize the opportunities that blue growth offers to Europe. I'm really looking forward to the discussions today and tomorrow, which focus on these 5 key areas. I wish you a successful conference. I would like to thank you all, especially our Greek friends, for the organisation, hospitality and support provided, and I also look forward to seeing you again next year in Turku, Finland, for the 2016 edition of European Maritime Day. Thank you.